Colonel, this is Snake. I have infiltrated the perimeter. Security is tighter than expected. Colonel, are you there? Do you copy?
For the longest time, I kept the Metal Gear series on the shelf.
What the? Who the hell are you?
Not because I thought it was bad, actually the opposite.
What?
Some games deserve time you can really give them. I did play this one as a kid, but tactical espionage is not exactly a concept a 3-year-old brain is ready to process. Back then I was just,
why can't I punch everything?
So now, we're going back to what is probably one of the highest rated games on the console of our childhood. Released in 1998, developed and published by Konami, this is the 4th entry in the saga and the first time the series steps into full 3D. A game that absolutely rewired people's expectations of what a PlayStation title should be, and one that has rightfully been considered a masterpiece through the years. So sit tight, because today, we're finally playing Metal Gear Solid. I have to say, I'm really impressed. Usually when I'm playing these older titles, I'm in full reviewer mode, analyzing the caveats of every game and how mechanics evolved during the years. On Metal Gear Solid, I was so immersed I was just enjoying my time. Maybe the graphics are not up to par, but as for what the gameplay is, it has aged pretty well. Whenever someone tells you about the greatness of Metal Gear Solid 1, it's not tales or nostalgia talking. It's purely facts being spoken on the spot. With no further delay, let's get into it, because this title gives you a lot to digest. The main menu immediately sets the tone, which shows you the codec appearance of Solid Snake, our hero, presented not like an action star, but like a soldier receiving orders. From here, you can access virtual reality training and summaries of previous Metal Gear operations. The briefing option is where things truly begin unpacking, where the game lays out the full context, the operation, the command structure, and the hostile force you are set to face. The enemy isn't just a group of random terrorists, they are Foxhound, an elite unit once commanded by Colonel Roy Campbell, the same man now directing Snake's mission. This isn't just another assignment, these are soldiers Snake knows personally. His former unit is now on the other band. The situation is clear but severe. A terrorist takeover of a nuclear weapons facility with the threat of launching a strike on Washington if their demands are not met. In this world, warfare has evolved beyond training and discipline. Soldiers are enhanced through gene therapy, designed to push the human body beyond its natural limits, improve resilience, reduce illness, heighten combat capability. War has become something engineered. Snake is sent alone to infiltrate the island, no support team, no backup. His objective is simple on paper: rescue the 2 hostages, DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and Arms Tech President Kenneth Baker, and investigate the terrorist nuclear launch capabilities and prevent any strike. The action begins with Solid Snake infiltrating by water into the island of Shadow Moses, Alaska. My thoughts are freezing of just thinking of the situation. As Snake arrives, we're shown the leader of Foxhound, Liquid Snake. Genetically, he is Snake's brother. They were created to be identical soldiers. Liquid is already preparing his men. They know Snake, meaning we is coming. This is where the first call from the Colonel comes through the codec, the in-ear communication system used throughout the game. It operates on a secure radio frequency and functions as Snake's constant link to command. Snake confirms his arrival and receives the immediate objective: reach the elevator ahead and avoid detection at all costs. And this is where the control is handed to you. No more setup, no guidance, just you, 2 guards, and a stealth system that does not forgive impatience. Metal Gear Solid 1 has a surprisingly complex set of controls and mechanics. Snake carries utility equipment through an inventory accessed with L2. This includes healing items, binoculars, and cigarettes, since he is addicted to nicotine just like you. Stop vaping. You can advance in a prone position, allowing you to be sneaky. The radar in the top right corner outlines the area, showing enemy positions and their vision cones. They are really blind. At first you are scared to be spotted, but these guys need glasses more than I do. Sound matters. Footsteps on metal or splashing through water can expose you faster than visibility alone. Stealthy gear is less about speed and more about reading patterns. The game unfolds in a cinematic manner, well thought, detail oriented, all thanks to Hideo Kojima's direction. But one thing that really bothers me is there is running and there is low crawling, nothing else. You cannot walk. For a stealth game, that limitation feels strange. Wonder how something like that is missing from a stealth game? Was that intentional or overlooked? No idea. We get into the elevator, which makes lots of noises. Now we're in front of the disposal facility. Snake establishes contact with the mission support. Naomi Hunter, a gene therapy specialist, monitors Snake's condition and explains the capabilities of his suit. We also meet Mei Ling, a military technologist responsible for the radar system and the mission data analyst. She also enables saving progress through codec contact, a function disguised as narrative communication. Our brother Liquid Snake is seen flying a chopper out of the zone. To sneak into the facility, Solid Snake scopes the guards that pose as obstacles and the possible entrances into the building. This is where the game drops the reins to you. Cower your way in, bash in, speedrun it. Metal Gear doesn't question methods, only results. Guards are not the only thing that can rat you out. Surveillance cameras are usually placed in important corners. They present patterns and, most importantly, blind spots. I'm a big believer in exploration whenever it suits the context, and Metal Gear rewards that, since it leads you to pick up all the utility and equipment that Kojima left for you. In this truck, I got Snake's mythical weapon, the Socom. We wait for the guard to move from a strategic order and sneak into the building through the duct ventilation. The game switches into a first-person view that I find impressive, and it's here where we first receive a call from MacDonald Miller, Snake's master, conveniently now retired in Alaska, helping via codec, with advice whenever you're in tough situations. Another thing Metal Gear rewards is preparation. The game presents a situation. What information you scout and what items you decide to use will determine the advantage you have when these scenarios play out. Another call from Roy Campbell instructs us to use the elevator to change floors, hopefully leading to the hostages. Here, you play it however you want. Explore the area or go directly to the elevator. Up to you. The first basement floor leads exactly where we wanted. The radar shows the signal for the DARPA chief, secluded in a jail cell. The cell access is secured by car keys, so we have to find an alternate route. A ladder into the ventilation ducts takes us right where we need to be. We crawl above a woman's cell, then over the DARPA chief's. Snake drops in and starts extracting information before the rescue. DARPA stands for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, meaning he is the man behind the funding of the Metal Gear Rex, the nuclear launch platform at the center of the crisis, and the name of the game. The weapon has been taken by the Foxhound unit. As he explains the situation, he says they cannot launch it without both PAL codes, his and the one held by the Arms Tech president. He admits his code was compromised after he gave in to the psychic abilities of Psycho Mantis. Of course, we're in a running out of time scenario. The second code, held by Kenneth Baker, is now the only barrier to launch. The chief also explains a shutdown method involving 3 car keys. He provides a level 1 security card and gives the last known location of the Arms Tech president, somewhere on the second basement floor, behind heavy electronic jamming and cemented access points. Before we can leave, the DARPA chief collapses in visible agony. The prisoner next door hears everything as he dies on the spot. Heart attack or something else. Mission support cuts in. Snake senses information is being withheld from him. Campbell denies knowing more and tells him to stick to the operation. Evasive behavior. On the way out, a guard points his gun at Solid. Snake, weirded out, starts questioning his experience and allegiance. Tension escalates, and other guards outside can hear the unfolding of the scene, and it's arms out. This becomes the first true shootout. They keep coming and we keep firing. In the chaos, there's a naked guard in the back. The woman from the cell has taken his uniform. The corridor clears, she says nothing, then suddenly opens fire at Snake as she retreats to the elevator. A levitating figure appears briefly, acknowledges her firing, and disappears. Naomi Hunter confirms over codec that presence was Psycho Mantis. I explore a bit more to collect everything I can, and I observe the guard one last time. I'm not in a rush. Then we head down to the second basement floor, which turns out to be an armory. Several sealed doors hide valuable equipment for what's coming next. The late DARPA chief hinted at cemented access points that could not be painted over, and electronic jamming. So we start placing C4 charges on suspicious walls. At first, we only find supplies, but after blowing open several sections and noticing interference on the radar, it's clear we're moving in the right direction. One final explosion reveals exactly what we're looking for. Kenneth Baker, Arms Tech president, suspended in a steel structure structure and wired with explosives. The setup and the gunshot makes one thing obvious: we were expected here. Foxhound's gun specialist steps forward, revolver Ocelot. He talks a lot and treats his colt as a fidget spinner, but this is the first boss fight. The battle plays out from an isometric view, like most of the game. I don't know why I said that in the script. Ocelot keeps his distance and fires 6 shots, but he can ricochet bullets off the walls just like a Sova in Valorant. Hiding does not work. Movement is essential. The goal is to make him miss and catch him during reloads. Kenneth Baker remains in the center of the room the entire time. You can use explosives, but they will instantly fail the mission since it will create a fireworks spectacle with the person we're trying to rescue. I wasn't able to fully understand the pattern. I end up winning through endurance and sheer luck more than strategy. A cutscene starts, the fight is not finished but interrupted. An invisible figure appears and slices Ocelot's hand, frees Baker from the wires and triggers his explosives off. A stealth camouflage super soldier reveals himself briefly. Ocelot escapes and the ninja takes off again without explanation after some rage. I understand nothing, but I'm guessing that could be considered mission accomplished. The president is safe, but he confesses he gave up his code under torture. The woman who escaped earlier, Meryl Silverberg, has the keycard needed to stop the launch. He believes stopping the launch may not be possible, but destroying the weapon might be. An engineer named Hal Emmerich should know how. He's likely being held in the nuclear storage building north of here. Baker explains more about the creation of Metal Gear, gives an optical disc with test data, and hands over a level 2 security card. Then he collapses, the same unexplained death as the DARPA chief. 2 key figures, same fate, no visible cause. Mission Command steps in via codec. Campbell doesn't understand what happened. Naomi tries to provide a scientific explanation. The new order from Colonel is to locate Meryl and continue the mission. We get out, and now there are guards in the armory, so caution is required. With the level 2 security card, we can open doors that were inaccessible before. This is how the game scales your equipment, and it also tests your memory, because many of those doors you passed earlier contain useful items you could not reach at the time. Back on the main floor of the disposal facility, we contact Meryl, who I just found out is the Colonel's niece. She also happens to come to the realization of who the legendary Snake is. After a long conversation, we learn more about the operation before the terrorists took control, confirmation of the car keys, the location of Hal Emmerich, and the path to reach him. Meryl opens a level 5 cargo door that leads to the building where the engineer is being held. We move in and equip the thermal goggles to detect infrared sensors guarding the exit. We pass through, playing a little limbo, and continue toward the nuclear storage building. Outside, snowy mountains. We receive an anonymous codec call from someone calling himself Deep Throat.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
He warns us to check the mine detector because the path ahead is filled with mines. As we advance carefully, the situation escalates immediately. An unnoticed cannon opens fire. It's driven by the second Foxhound member we encounter, Vulcan Raven. Solid Snake is now fighting a military tank in an open field. This man is personifying madness and carelessness. I was in disbelief about this boss fight. How on earth was I supposed to face a tank? I guess I still wasn't fully buying into Snake's capabilities because the cold man in the cold winter treats this like any other mission. We run toward the tank, avoiding mines, grenades here, grenades there, until the vehicle is damaged enough that someone inside is forced to come out. I never clearly see where Raven goes. Regular soldiers are who end up defeating along with the tank. After the victory, we collect a car key from a soldier. As we leave, Raven emerges from the vehicle and reports the outcome to Liquid Snake, revealing the battle result was premeditated. One important detail I figured out at this point: after every boss fight, the health bar increases. Inside the nuclear building, the pace shifts back to stealth. A codec call from the Colonel explains we cannot fire weapons here. The facility is filled with nuclear warheads. A single bullet could trigger disaster, which makes no sense because if you are detected, they will fire with no remorse. We scout the area, identify the blind guards and their patrol patterns, then move toward an elevator. The elevators are really anxiety-inducing because you have to call them and wait for them, hoping you don't get caught in the act. On the first basement floor, we investigate. Most doors require higher security levels than our current cart, so this clearly becomes an area to revisit later. The only major item available is the Nikita launcher, a remote-controlled rocket. Where does Snake store these things? Remains a mystery to me. There is also a bathroom, which I thought will have a purpose, but it just acts like the relief for the guards on the floor. On the second basement floor, the environment itself becomes the obstacle. The floor is electrified and the corridors are filled with gas. A codec call from Deep Throat provides the solution. Catch your breath, fire the Nikita launcher, and guide the missile to destroy the switchboard that powers the electrified floor. Shooting the Nikita is equally great as it is challenging. It feels like the old Nokia Snake game. The missile moves forward forward in the direction you guide it, but after a few seconds it speeds up. Maneuvering becomes difficult because that burst of speed is hard to predict. At the same time, you have to watch your oxygen so Snake doesn't pass out, and surveillance cameras will detect and shoot at the passing rocket. With patience, I eventually destroyed the switchboard. The voltage in the floor is gone, but the gas remains, so movement through the corridors still has to be timed carefully. In one of the offices, we find a gas mask, which greatly extends how long we can move through the gas. This game becomes much more friendly when you take your time. Beyond the offices, we reach a chamber where breathing is normal, but communications are jammed. We hear confrontation ahead. Moving forward reveals a scene I was not expecting: a massacre. Soldiers cut down by a blade. One guard, barely alive, calls it a ghost. We met someone with a blade that could go invisible. It's clear where we're headed. Inside the office, the cyborg ninja is terrorizing a scientist who wets his pants. We intervene. Luckily for him, the ninja claims he's not an enemy nor a friend. Still, he demands a fight to the death with Snake. Sounds like it's sport for him. The scientist hides in a locker. The third boss fight begins. Similarly, that this man is heavy on electronics, my first idea was to use the chaff grenades. They release metallic particles that disrupt electronics and sensors, which briefly exposes him. At first, I was using bullets, which could damage him, but he claimed it would not be of much use against him. That's when I switched to physical attacks. The 2-punch and kick combo from Snake was the most damage I could get out of him before he reset it. The fight itself is an endurance test, because the cyborg ninja clearly counts with the superior attacks and dodges. The window to attack him is so slight that half a second off means getting hit. Trial and error led me to get him to his second phase, which was him going invisible. Little did he know that I have thermal goggles. At one point, he starts asking to be hurt more. Okay. As he's getting close to defeat, he starts walking you down really menacingly. And once he's defeated, I relaxed thinking I had it. He just explodes. With nothing left in his health bar, he still goes for a minute, releasing a series of explosions that made me repeat the whole sequence several times because the man refuses to be defeated. When it finally ends, the identity reveal lands. The ninja is Grey Fox. Snake recognizes the combat style from previous operations in Zanzibar Land, one of the earlier 2D games. The cyborg ninja goes in rage mode again and disappears. Out of the locker, the engineer comes out. He is Hal Emmerich, the engineer we're looking for. He asks Snake if he's an otaku. Snake isn't, I might be. We get some information on Metal Gear Rex. He claims he didn't know the full nuclear intent behind the project. He details capabilities, where it is, and how to stop launch based on what the ArmSec president told us. The game is so lore heavy, I believe you have over 2 hours in cutscenes. He adopts the name Otacon and insists on helping since he wants to destroy what he built. Snake refuses direct partners, they slow him down. Otacon comes with stealth camouflage tech similar to the cyber ninja and hands over a level 4 security card and becomes a navigation guide through codec support. I go back to basement floor 1 to open some level 4 security doors and notice one extra guard. When I'm detected, instead of raising an alarm, he runs into the women's restroom. When I follow him to check him out, inside the uniform is abandoned in the last stall. It happens to be Meryl Silverberg. They have a very loud conversation about the ups and downs in war and how there is no victor, no hero, everyone ends either dead or in jail. She provides the PAL card needed to stop the launch, wants to be Snake's guide since Meryl knows the building's layout and possesses a level 5 security card. Let's go through the commander room, she says. As we come close to it, she starts having headaches and visions. Something wicked is going on. Her voice changes mid-sentence.
The commander is waiting.
Even draws a gun on Snake. Meryl is being controlled by Psycho Mantis. Immediately, command orders come through. Do not kill her, knock her out. So I just give her the same medicine I gave to Grey Fox. Once she is out, then he arrives. One of the most talked about boss fights of gaming history. The guy that will break the fourth wall. A villain that will read your memory card, tell your game behavior, and even predict your moves. For years, I've heard people talk wonders and tragedies about Psycho Mantis. Getting to live this fight for the first time was something else. During this fight, he quote-unquote reads your mind. He dodges almost everything before you even commit to the move. The solution here is change the port where your controller is plugged, and he will no longer be able to predict all your movements. From here, it's more of a fair fight. He can still turn invisible, throwing objects with telekinesis, and attacks in strange, unpredictable patterns that make clean dodges nearly impossible. One of the most creative boss encounters ever designed in my opinion. I can only applaud. He even gets defeated in great fashion. Psycho Mantis down, he just starts helping Snake out. He provides directions so we can keep pushing deeper into where the Metal Gear is, and even opens a passage. Gives some background on how he lived his life and some regrets, ultimately to request to just be left with his mask on, to die just like he was in life. Next boss fight arrives immediately. After pushing through snow and hostile wolves, we reach a long exposed corridor. It feels like progress, it's actually a firing lane. Foxhound's deadliest marksman reporting for duty, Sniper Wolf. shoots, and takes Meryl out of combat in the spot. Meryl wants Snake to leave her behind. This is not a situation we're equipped for. Meryl's body is left as bait for Snake. So how do we confront this scenario? The answer is backtracking. Right now, we simply don't have the tools. She controls distance, and we only have one rifle and one pistol. So what we need to do is run back 3 hours of gameplay, second basement floor of the disposal facility. Behind a level 5 security door sits the PSG-1 sniper rifle. Only then we can fight on equal terms. This part doesn't make much sense to me. Snake was allowed to run freely to find some equipment, but whatever. Once we're back, Meryl is gone, and the fight to figure out how the rifle works starts. When you equip the PSG-1, you drop prone automatically. The range is great, but so is the shaky aim of Snake with his weapon. Sniper Wolf rotates between cover points, taking precise shots whenever you're open. You need to be faster than her. It's funny to me how we're talking about the largest caliber bullets in weaponry. These two are exchanging rounds to body and face, and both can sustain several impacts from them. Realism politely step aside for this drama. Once she falls, Snake advances to a level 6 security door, only to be surrounded, guards emerge, Sniper Wolf is still alive, movie lines are exchanged, Snake gets knocked unconscious, typical villain behavior, don't kill the ultimate threat. Next thing we know, Snake wakes up captured, stripped of freedom, face to face with Liquid Snake, delivering a ramble, revealing that he and Snake are the last surviving sons of Big Boss. Liquid receives a call and leaves. Launch is in T-10 hours. Sniper Wolf leaves. Ocelot stays for the interrogation/torture. Ocelot wants information, the keycards, the optical disc, everything he can get out of Snake. This is another scene people have talked about through the years. The torture method is going to be electrocution. I do find really funny that prior to start, Ocelot gives you instructions on how to beat it. He literally says, press circle to fight. He activates the machine, the shocks come in longer and longer intervals, and you have to mash continuously to endure them. It's physically exhausting, you can surrender, but that doesn't feel like something Snake will do. There's 8 or 9 of these rounds, and after that Ocelot lets you rest. You're taken back to your cell. On this cell where you have nothing, not even a shirt, one guard is doing the rounds. Inside the cell is something that doesn't make sense. The DARPA chief's body, he looks like he's been dead for weeks, even though he supposedly died only hours ago in our face. As time passes, Otacon secretly visits. Thanks to stealth camouflage, he can move freely. He cannot open the door, but he brings ketchup, tuna, and a level 6 security card. The way to get out is simple misdirection. Snake hides under the bed. When the guard loses visual contact, he panics and opens the door. Snake takes him out and escapes. Outside, we recover gear and start moving forward. We run all the way back to where we initially fought Sniper Wolf. Next up, the communications tower. One of this game's strongest points is how rare full action actually is. Most of the time we avoid conflict, so when the game forces confrontation, it hits harder and carries real weight. The moment we step inside the communications tower, we make a huge mistake. Snake gets canonically spotted by a surveillance camera that triggers an endless wave of soldiers from behind, while everyone ahead is instantly on alert. A really challenging sequence that's not forgiving at all. It's long, barely any time to rest, and the camera work might be good looking but not practical. I had to take a deep look at my inventory and maximize the use of utility, so after 20 minutes I finally beat that damn tower. We reach the roof and immediately get greeted by a Hind helicopter, piloted by our dear brother, Liquid Snake. He opens fire and tears the roof apart. With the help of a rope, Snake rappels down the tower while Liquid sprays the entire structure with gunfire. At the bottom, we land on a runway, deal with a few guards while still being targeted by the helicopter, and make a run for it. That sprint finally gets us inside Communications Tower B. And the reward for surviving such chaos, a Stinger missile launcher. This tells me we're taking the fight to Liquid Snake. On this tower we climb all the way up. Peacefully this time, at the top we meet our brother again, a man versus a military helicopter, and somehow those odds feel normal for Solid Snake. The Stinger missile works in first person view and locks onto targets, but let's not forget what we're fighting. That helicopter can take Snake almost instantly. So once again, this becomes a battle of endurance. Play the angles, hide from incoming fire, step out, lock on, fire, repeat. This fight took me nearly 15 minutes. Great encounter, but mentally exhausted. Solid Snake has beaten a chopper by himself. Liquid Snake falls to his death as we witness the massive explosion.
See you in hell, Liquid. That takes care of the cremation.
Pure badassery. Closing into the Metal Gear maintenance place, we reach a snowfield, vast and open. As we push forward, we get shot from a distance. Can't be no other than Sniper Wolf. Second round, this time is no different, but this time we're dancing until someone hits the ground. There is less cover on this battle, there is an ongoing snowstorm, and Wolf has better use of cover now. What rats her out is her breath on the cold winter. Snake clearly wasn't going to lose to a single person after beating a tank and a helicopter. Sniper Wolf goes down, this time to an incoming death. Snake is again very respectful and listens to the person close to meet their maker. She requests to rest with her gun close to her, and Snake ends her suffering. Otacon is not so happy, but it's not like I care. I still have a mission to complete, a nuclear launch to stop, a world to save. We push forward through a literal furnace and then an open warehouse in this weather. Metal Gear can't be far now, but Foxhound isn't finished. Vulcan Raven is waiting. He has a minigun, he has the field advantage. This is not a fight we take head on, surprisingly considering what we have taken out before. Looking back at it, this might be my favorite fight in this game. I went in completely blind and just let the Metal Gear instinct take over. I stayed hidden from Vulcan Raven, used the remote control rockets to hit him from behind, and planted mines along his approach path. He kept chasing, I kept repositioning. I don't know if his health pool was lower than expected or if that strategy just worked perfectly, but I beat him on the first try. After he falls, Raven acknowledges Snake's strength, he hands over the level 7 security card and warns that Liquid isn't finished yet. He also confirms the DARPA chief who died earlier wasn't actually the DARPA chief. It was Octopus, a Foxhound member disguised as him. The death we saw was real, but the identity was not. We leave as Raven dies, surrounded and consumed by actual Ravens. Master Miller contacts Snake privately. He says Naomi Hunter's story does not add up. That's not her real name. Someone inside this operation is not who they claim to be. So now it's not just terrorists, nuclear weapons, and Metal Gear, it's infiltration inside the rescue team itself. It's never good use. Past the warehouse, we finally reach what we came for all along, the Metal Gear X maintenance facility. We head upstairs towards the control room, one car patrolling outside, inside, two familiar faces, Revolver Ocelot and Liquid Snake, alive, talking, planning. They discuss the weapon, the launch, and a lot of geopolitical drama that it's easy to miss. Snake is spotted on a surveillance camera, and they still keep talking. They confirm the key point. The Paul car is the only thing that can stop the launch. Otacon calls and explains how the Paul car works. Before we can act, we get spotted, shot at, and the car falls into the drainage channel below. We recover it, return to the control room, and they are gone, which is never comforting. Stopping the launch requires one Paul key, but it changes shape depending on the temperature. First insertion at room temperature, then we must cool the card, which means run all the way back to the warehouse where we fought Raven. Return, insert again. Then heat the card, go to the furnace area, go back and insert. This part feels like a drag, and it probably is. As we head back to insert the heated Paul card, we get another codec call from Master Miller. Once again, it's about Naomi. He explains that the DIA created a biological weapon called Fox Die, a virus engineered to kill specific targets. He believes this is what caused the sudden heart attacks of the man we thought was the DARPA chief and the arms tech president. And then comes the real problem. He believes Naomi injected Snake with Fox Die, meaning when Snake comes into contact with certain people, they die. And eventually, Snake might too. The plot never stops thickening. Before we can even insert the heated card, we receive a call from the spy herself, Naomi Hunter. She's been arrested for betrayal. She explains her motives. Her only family was Grey Fox, this cyber ninja who wanted to fight Snake to death. Her revenge was always directed at Snake. Snake killed Big Boss, Snake crippled Grey Fox. She confirms it. Snake is infected with Fox Die. He might die soon enough. She says the injection was but an order she followed, but the call is cut off. The Colonel blocks further contact. Now, we finally return to the control room to insert the heated Paul card. Hopefully it's still hot. It's been a while. We insert the final key. The system responds.
Detonation code activated.
No, why?
Ready for launch.
I deactivated it.
What? Immediate codec call from Master Miller. He congratulates us, thanks us, then apologizes because everything we did helped initiate the launch instead of stopping it. All the guidance, all the instructions, all the help, we were manipulated from the very beginning. We suspected manipulation, just not the source. Then Campbell cuts in and informs that's not Master Miller. The real Miller was found dead 3 days ago. This signal has been coming from inside the base the entire time. Glasses off, Hair loose. We've been talking to Liquid Snake all along. Right outside the control room, we start chasing our blonde evil brother. He confirms the Pentagon sent Snake as the Fox Die carrier to eliminate Foxon one way or another, so they could use Metal Gear for themselves. More revelations, more manipulation, more Big Boss history, a lot of information to digest all the way to the end. It's time for Arms Out. Liquid jumps into Metal Gear Rex. Solid Snake is going to fight nuclear weaponry by himself. I believe Snake could easily be considered a mythical figure at this point. This is one of the best boss fights I've ever experienced. The setup, the execution, the precision it demands. Not a lot of times I use the word epic to describe something, but this is definitely something of that sort. We call Otacon for insight. It tells us it's literally indestructible. The plan is to destroy the optical sensors, blind the machine, force Liquid to expose himself. Mission: first destroy the eyes, then destroy it from the inside. Everything about this fight is a challenge. The scale, the arsenal it has, and the tiny window you get to do real damage. We pull out the Stinger launcher and start moving constantly, making Rex lose track of us. When it switches into search mode, there's a brief opening to fire. Even then, the retaliation is immediate. There is no relaxing here unless you want to restart the fight. It takes around 12 missiles or more to bring the Radome down. Once that health bar went down, I was thinking victory, but it was not over. A cutscene starts, Grey Fox enters the fight. He reveals he was Deep Throat all along and begins attacking Rex directly. Snake and Fox exchange words in a brief safe moment outside of Machine's line of sight. Snake tells him to leave. Forget the death wish and do it for Naomi. Fox confesses something unexpected. He killed her parents. He just couldn't bring himself to end her, so he took care of her all those years. Fox returns to the fight. He loses an arm to the laser, gets crushed against a wall, but he keeps fighting anyway. He completely destroys the Radome, forcing Liquid to fight without Rex's vision. Fox tells Snake to fire, even if it means hitting them both. But Snake refuses. The game won't let you take the shot. You can aim, but you cannot fire. You only hear Fox's final words until he's finally crushed completely by Rex. It's time for the second phase of Liquid Snake. Same battle, but now we can tickle the Metal Gear Rex. This fight is no different, but now emotional charge for the loss of Fox. A new full health bar and a more aggressive pattern of attacks. One of the most tense battles of my gaming history. But it was done, with barely any healing. Almost reading him to perfection, one last Stinger missile bring down the machine which the game is named after. Is this the end of the game? Hollywood explosions everywhere. Snake gets blown away, Metal Gear is in ruins, and Liquid somehow still breathing. Launches one last monologue about legacy and vengeance, which serves as an explanation on Big Boss, who wasn't just a legend, he became a template of the Ultimate Soldier. Solid and Liquid were the two surviving out of 8 engineered copies. The Genome Army also present Big Boss DNA. War here is not accidental, it's manufactured. And in a war where conflict is designed, even the smallest advantage become priceless. Meryl is barely alive. Liquid wants a final duel to the death. At the same time, the Pentagon has decided to erase Shadow Moses entirely. No evidence. Campbell confirms via codec, tries to stall the strike long enough for Snake to escape, and immediately gets silenced for it. Secretary of Defense Jim Houseman seizes control and will go ahead with a nuclear strike on Alaska. Action resumes with the final battle versus Liquid. It isn't just survival anymore, it's pride. He arms a 3-minute bomb that guarantees Meryl's death if Snake fails. The final battle happens on top of the destroyed Metal Gear. No weapons, just fists. The combat is not hard if you take your time. Liquid is clearly stronger, you just need not to fall and not let him breathe. I beat him with 18 seconds left in the timer. Liquid falls from the Metal Gear and we go assist Meryl, who is thankfully still alive. They share this typical embracing moment until Otacon calls. We explain the island is about to be bombed. Escape route proposed is underground loading tunnels leading far beyond the facility. Otacon stays behind to override the security systems, a clear sacrifice. I don't understand why Snake was shirtless, but he gets his suit back and the escape begins. 10 minutes until nuclear impact. A camera spots us and guards swarm the area. The only weapon left is a mounted machine gun on escape truck. As we escape, this becomes really interesting. We're shooting at soldier checkpoints. You can use the first or third person view, making this cinematic ending even more cinematic. But what could be more cinematic than a villain making a comeback? If we look behind, a car approaches, Liquid Snake refusing to die. We have to keep him at bay. He will shoot and try to destroy our vehicle. Absolute cinema falls short to describe this last hour of game. Liquid Snake forces a vehicle crash right at the exit, in broad daylight. Mind you, this whole game happened in a single night. Both vehicles overturn, Snake is trapped as Liquid stands. Readies his rifle to get his vengeance, but something happens. Fox Die activates, Liquid collapses mid-sentence. The same engineer virus meant as a secret weapon quietly ends this war. Talk about plot armor, Snake. Surprisingly, no nuclear strike took place. A final protocol confirms Secretary of Defense arrest. Campbell reached the president, so the cover-up collapsed. Snake will get to walk away from this one. Naomi contacts Snake about Grey Fox. His final message reaches her. Then comes the lingering question. If Liquid died from Fox Die, when will Snake? Naomi says it's up to him. She just tells him to live fully while he can. Snake and Meryl walk down the cliff and find a snowmobile waiting for them. They get on as they conversate about life, how Snake wants to live life not for survival anymore, but to find a future to look forward to, hinting about a potential relationship these two might have. A really fitting ending to the whole madness that went down. They drive the snowmobile into the dawn, and that's Metal Gear Solid for you. Credits start rolling, and what a game! From start to finish, a masterful execution. Enjoying this experience so much after finishing in 2026 tells you about how this game has aged. If you tell me this is the best game the console has, I will agree. I will put it right outside of my top 5, but that's just personal preference. I'm really excited about what next Metal Gears do in regards of mechanics and story. I could go for more talking about the greatness of Metal Gear Solid for an hour, but I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out.
As the credits end, a phone call from Revolver Ocelot reveals he comes in contact with an unknown person. Gives detail about how the whole Fox Sound unit was cleared, how Solid came out victorious and still alive, and that no one has a clue that he, Solidus, is the third one. Call ends with Ocelot referring as him as Mr. President, clearly hinting at another son of Big Boss, and linking to the next game. The plot never stops thickening, man. My name is Jorcelis, and with nothing else to say, good night.